Hi everyone, welcome back to Easy Recaps. Today I will show you a drama and a sci-fi film from 2016 titled Realive. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The film begins with a scene in a research institution. There's also a girl named Elizabeth who was last seen there. It was her first day as a researcher at this institute. Her profession was that of a nurse. Drive West is now brought to her. Drive West takes Elizabeth on a tour of the entire research facility. And Drive West assures her, our first patient is still out of his mind. In the next 24 hours, he will be resurrected. You'll have to look after him from every angle while entertaining him for the rest of your life. As a result, Elizabeth accepts all of Drive West's directions. The film's plot then shifts to the past. 2015 is the current year. In the past, a guy named Mark is shown, and his doctor informed him that he is fighting cancer and is nearing the end of his life. He will now have about a year to live. Mark is taken aback when he hears this. Mark, who was waiting on the side of the road alongside his parked automobile, is visible. Then Mark's pal arrives, having lately learned of his illness. She tells him while hugging him, she won't be able to live without him. To try to please Mark, she throws a dinner party for all of his pals. But Mark was unaffected by anything. He gets up and goes into his room to get his tablet. Now Mark has returned. When he gets back, he gives all of his buddies a 7-year-old piece. He explains the creation of a bio-artificial heart by several scientists. It was said in the piece that they would conduct their next research on humans, through which human organs can be made. Now Mark must live a long life. So, he wants to move to the freezing cryostasis after liquidating all of his possessions. Following that, he will awaken in his future, so that future scientists may be able to resurrect him. With the aid of technology, they will be able to resurrect him, which will be more sophisticated in the future. On the other hand, Naomi is completely dissatisfied with Mark's decision. She wished for Mark to continue taking therapy from the doctor. Mark explains, my father, too, was suffering from cancer. He was being treated by the doctor as well. Despite this, he did not make it. And I don't want to die the same way he did. One of his buddies suggests, Doctor, you can also go through this process when you die. Now Mark seemed to have thought about it as well. He announces that he will commit suicide. As a result, doctors will have legal standing to place his corpse in cryostasis. Then it is showcased sometime in the future, where Drive West used his technology to create the human body. After Drive West had made a guy using his technology, his eyes were shown in the process of opening. It is discovered that this individual is none other than Mark, whom physicians have revived his cells while transferring him into a new body from his old one, to bring him back to life. In the same way, a cord is attached to a newborn baby. There was even a stuck cord resembling a baby on Mark's tummy. The physicians then give Mark a device to use there. As a result, they may be able to resurrect his old memories, which the physicians wanted to show the rest of the world as well, since Mark was the resurrected individual. Nurse Elizabeth was also seen at the beginning of the film. She has now 100 days to look after Mark. Days pass more slowly this way. Mark's condition was getting better. However, Mark became miserable because he was alone. He was missing his previous life now. He was with Naomi at the time. The fun times he had with his buddies and the parties he threw. Mark had imagined that his life will be perfect in the future, but still nothing like that was happening. In reality, he was experiencing everyone's support for his decision to walk. Time has gone more slowly and his 100 days have come to an end. And Drive West introduces his entire staff to Mark to share in their joy. Mark is, however, handed an old box in which he previously stored his belongings. Mark had been recalling and noticing all of his past recollections. One of Naomi's letters can also be found here. He hands the letter to Elizabeth for her to read. She reads it to him, where it was written by Naomi, because she is madly in love with him. Mark was sleeping, but Naomi's condition has deteriorated since he left. When Naomi reached his 50s, she decided to freeze her body in cryostasis. She intended to rebuild her life with Mark through this channel. Having heard the letter assertions in Naomi's letter makes him feel sad. He reflects how selfish he had been. Now he requests the doctor, and he moves to the location where Naomi's body was found. Mark begins to ask the doctor to resurrect Naomi in the same way she was before. He'd been resurrected. Doctors, on the other hand, forbid it. The doctor informs him that after putting Naomi's body into cryostasis, her body had become more debilitated. As a result, they are unable to resurrect her body using their technology. Hearing this, Mark immediately blamed him for Naomi's current state. He is even more depressed. As a result, his condition worsens. All the doctors in the room were now watching Mark's changing behavior. So they were talking about it. Elizabeth advises the doctors that Mark be allowed to leave the study center. While studying the outside world, he might forget about Naomi. Doctors, on the other hand, say, we'll have to give Mark some time. As a result, he may be able to free himself from the memories of Naomi. However, Elizabeth was also a fictional character. As a result, he may be able to free himself from the memories of Naomi. However, Elizabeth was attracted to Mark in some way and she seemed overly concerned about him. After Drive West's departure, Mark steals the key to Drive West's room. Drive West's mind reader apparatus is found when he returns to his room. When he connects his device to him, he begins to glimpse Dr. West's memories as well as all of his previous experiments. It's then revealed to Mark here that Drive West had previously undertaken numerous human experiments. However, Drive West's tests had all failed. Fortunately, the experiment on Mark was successful, and he had escaped injury. Mark pays a visit to Drive West. And when he arrives, he tells him, "You are accountable for the deaths of all people." All of the experiments had been performed by Drive West. The doctor admits to all of his errors. After some time, Mark returns to Naomi's cryostasis room. Now he turns to Elizabeth for assistance. So, after taking his own life, he will be free of this torment. But Elizabeth, who is crying, forbids him. Since Elizabeth had developed to also have feelings for Mark in some way. When Mark returns to his room, Elizabeth embraces him and approaches him. With this, she also whispers the name of the drug in his ear. He will die peacefully if he accepts this. Mark is now on his way to the Research Institute's lab. And it is there that he begins his search for the Elizabeth medicine that he has been heard about. As he is about to take that fatal prescription, he sees his flashback. He had also died there after ingesting the poison. He takes the bottle and returns to Naomi's cryostasis room. He takes the toxic drug and remembers every memory he has. He also cuts the cryostasis chamber's connection. If Naomi is restored, she will be a part of these useless attempts as well. He was now sitting there, waiting for his doom. After that, we see at the end of the film that all doctors were present before Mark opened his eyes. Drive West says to him, "You had not died as a result of the cancer disease. So, you poisoned yourself and ended your life. For your next life." The doctor continues, "So don't trash your second chance." He says further, "You'd been given another chance to live thanks to scientific progress. And you must not squander this opportunity." And with this scene, the film ends.